Hi, everybody. We are learning Daf Shvui. We are on Masechet Bava Kamma, Daf Kuf Yud Zayin, page 117. There's a really very interesting story here that scholars, historians have taken great interest in, and that is the story of Rav Kahana in Rebbe Yochanan's academy. So I just wanted to reflect a little bit about what historical aspects many historians think we can learn and what I think we should be careful about not deriving from here. First of all, I think that as far as being a literal description, like this is a real historical event, that's always going to be hard to tell. We don't know, did Rav Kahana really murder somebody who came in front of Rav? That seems to be a bit exaggerated and is taken by many scholars as a vehicle to get Rav Kahana, who was Babylonian, to go to Rebbe Yochanan. Now, many historians take this as a reflection of two things. One is how Babylonian academies were conducted. Most associated with the end of the Talmudic period when these stories were constructed. That's going to be hard to tell at what point in the Talmudic period, but that there is some kind of a reflection of a description of what went on in the Babylonian academy, sometimes probably towards the end of the Babylonian Talmudic period, talking around the year 400 or so. What kinds of things do we see here? One is we see a hierarchy where teachers were sitting on pillows, and students were sitting on the floor, which has been evaluated in light of Persian customs. Two, we see a very high estimation of the ability to raise difficulties and solve them. What is the mark of a true Talmid Chacham? The true Talmid Chacham is one who is able to raise difficulties and then solve them. We can see Rav Kahana, when he doesn't raise difficulties in the beginning of when he gets there, everybody thinks that he is a lion that has become a fox. He's lost his prowess. And then Rav Kahana changes his mind, kind of like the phoenix rising, comeback. I compared it to Rocky, and he starts raising difficulties against Rebbe Yochanan, so much so that they have to remove the pillows, which seems to be probably a symbolic sign of the loss of his authority. Some of the stuff about dying, I think most people would assume that this is like legends that are accrued to this. Obviously the story about the burial cave and the snake around it are all probably legends. But the tension also between Babylonian learning and Eretz Israeli, Palestinian learning in the land of Israel, is also very palpable in the story. There clearly was a feeling of the editors of the story that Babylonian learning was superior. And in the end, Rabbi Yochanan, who is the great teacher of the land of Israel, makes this statement, which we see in other places, and we're unsure of what it means. What I said is yours, in fact, theirs, is in fact theirs, meaning all Eretz Israeli, Palestinian learning that went on in the land of Israel is attributed to the acumen of Babylonian scholars. And that's probably, seems certainly to reflect the attitude of the Babylonian editors of the Talmud. So it's a story, there's actually several different versions of this story. Scholars have studied the manuscripts, which appear with significant differences in the order and the editing of this story. Shama Friedman, my doctoral advisor, has an article on this story. It's one of the more interesting and graphic stories in the entire Talmud. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're interested in talking about the lessons we learned from it and what we can learn from the story, then come to our live Daf Shvui class.